Red Sox trade for Garrett Crochet, lefty starter Garrett Crochet from the Chicago White Sox, which that news broke right before the beginning of yesterday's show, right around 2 p.m. It is Felger Mazz here on 98.5, the Sports Hub, and no Felger and no Mazz today, it being, the holiday season, they're out. Well, Mazz is actually sick. We might see him tomorrow. Either way, it's Jim Murray, Joe Murray, and Matt McCarthy. Again, you heard Craig Breslow there. Joe, I don't know your thoughts yet on this deal. I only heard you talking a bit about the Bill Belichick stuff driving home last night. Are you in or out on this move?
I'm in. I like the deal. I actually like the fact that they didn't go 8 years with other guys or spent big money. I like the fact that they got the guy because they got the prospects. The number one reason why I like this move, not because it's a guy who's 25, an all-star, and is under team control, it's the fact that they're willing to give up picks. They did it at the deadline last year. Maybe they missed out on the right guys, but I liked where their head was at on that one. So as far as getting Crochet, I like the move. I think they're an improved baseball team, and I know in the end it's the fact that they didn't spend. Like, people are bothered by that. Take it out of it. Take that out, because I know it's hard to do that. But that's the story of the Red Sox, is that they're not spending on guys. But if you look at it, they made a good move. They gave up some pretty good prospects for a pitcher that still has some question marks. I like the move. It's a 25-year-old pitcher at the top of the rotation, and all you had to do is give up prospects?
Yeah, Joe, I think you're hitting on there are two sides to this story. One, they're trading for Garrett Crochet because they don't want to spend the money. I think we should criticize the Red Sox for that. They don't want to compete for Max Fried, for Corbin Burns at the top of the market. So they deserve criticism for that. But this is a good trade. They needed to do this. Giving up prospects, giving up your 2 first-round picks from the last 2 drafts is exactly something the Red Sox needed to do and have refused to do for years. I've been saying for a long time there are 2 problems with the Red Sox. The number one is ownership, obviously. We understand that. They don't want to spend the money. But the second problem has been baseball operations. And just because your ownership group doesn't want to spend the money that we all think you should spend doesn't give you the excuse to not build a better baseball team. You're still spending $200+ million on the Red Sox. Why have you been a last-place team and this past year a third-place team? Why have you not been good enough? And the simple answer for that is they have not been willing to give up prospects to make the team better in the short term, which is exactly what this deal does. I want to read you a statement from Chaim Bloom on the day he was fired. He said this to Red Sox fans, quote, "Great things are now in store for the Red Sox. And while I'm sad that I won't be watching them from the same chair, I will still be very proud. Red Sox fans, you're the best. Your passion fueled me daily, adding meaning to everything I've done here. You deserve more championships, and you will get them." Unquote. Which, at the time, was Bloom's message saying, you shouldn't have fired me. These prospects are going to be the next big thing for the Boston Red Sox, and you'll see one day. Craig Breslow comes in, and 1 year on the job, he starts taking taking Bloom's prospects out back, which is exactly what needed to happen. You could not wait for these guys to come along. Not to mention, too, they're all left-handed hitters. You needed pitching. You needed to start trading prospects. The story here is this. Chaim Bloom would not have done this. Craig Breslow deserves a lot of credit for making a trade like this happen. The previous general manager, and I know it's been suggested on this show, Jim, that Craig Breslow is the exact same as Chaim Bloom. He's not. Not even close.
Well, in this case, I'm with you. Yeah, we all lump the nerds together, and he is another Yaley, and so he, right or wrong, he's going to get lumped in. But you're right. I don't think that if Chaim Bloom was here, he would have traded any of those precious prospects, especially someone as heralded as Kyle Teal.
It's one thing to talk the same because you're analytically driven, you're both from Yale, like all of that. They're cut from the same cloth in that. They have approached the job completely differently. Bloom wouldn't have traded 4 prospects for some, rental reliever at the deadline. It didn't work out, but Breslow approached that differently. He has approached building this team slightly differently than Bloom. He never, ever would have done this. And I think he deserves credit for this trade because the Red Sox have been opposed to this for a while. Now they have a general manager who actually has some balls.
So, Joe, I'm with you in that, just in a vacuum. I like the move. Prospects to me usually don't end up panning out. You needed a frontline starter. This is what Garrett Crochet is or projects to be, at least just looking at what that rotation is. He's better already than what Brian Bayer or someone like Tanner Houck is. So you now have a frontline starter. 6'6", fastball that can touch into the hundreds, right? Good strikeout to walk ratio, Matt, right?
Yes.
So, like, he is your ace as of right now. He's your opening day starter. But they can't be done. Like, if they don't do anything else and they don't spend some of this money, aren't you going to be pissed then, Joe?
Yeah. So I feel like the pursuit of Juan Soto was a joke, but I feel like they finished third, right? They finished third in Juan Soto. So although you didn't get the guy you wanted, it's a fail. Can you make the pursuit worth something? Like, they failed. But now they've made a trade. They keep talking about spending money. Remember the full throttle thing, all that. So Burns would be the payoff for me. I feel like at some point you get Burns. Now you have two guys at the top of the rotation, and you spent money. Where else could you fault the team? They traded prospects. They made a trade. They spent money. The other thing is, what is their who are their future guys? I would personally trade Jarren Duran. I don't think he's a leader. I think this team needs leadership. So Burns might be that guy. He pitched in the division last year, right? Baltimore made a big trade for him, etc. So I just feel like those two guys, that would be a good offseason and a nice consolation prize to the pursuit of Juan Soto.
Jim, you know how we walked in at the beginning of the show when we watched Joe's take kind of crumble down on him about Bill Belichick? Oh, this isn't really that bad. And then you see the change on his face as we watch that press conference happen. That was me. Tuesday night when I realized, no, wait, I've been duped again. There is no way the Red Sox are spending money, because that was apparent with the Max Fried thing. They weren't willing to go far enough. Joe, they're not getting Corbin Burns. They're not spending that type of money. Now, they've shown you that they're willing to trade prospects because Breslo understands that ownership isn't going to give him that flexibility. He's not going to give, the finances to make that happen. So at least he tried to make this team better. But this is why Breslo said 3 days ago, that we are going to prioritize the short term over the long term. We're willing to take a bite out of the long term. Translation, I have to trade prospects because my owner won't sign pitchers.
Okay. Follow up to that is, Felger will use the analogy of, if you're not going to win a World Series, why do anything? Like, he hates that. My whole thing is, do you think the Red Sox this year are competing for a World Series?
No. Not yet.
So why spend... Felger doesn't like this. Why spend that money? I like, and we're crossing sports, another thing that nobody likes is, in the NBA right now, LeBron James is going to be available, Giannis is going to be available, and if you're a team that doesn't have money or assets to do that, you can't get those players, right? Are any of these free agents truly worth the investment for the Red Sox this year?
No. But they never are.
Yeah, right. So, but
they're overvalued and it's an overpay. But I would say yes.
But don't you want to spend that money when you are ready?
Henry doesn't. He's never going to be ready to spend money.
We've been saying the same thing for years
because
now.
They're not good.
And much like the Patriots, they also lack some sort of identity here, and there's certainly a lack of leadership. You talk about Duran. Obviously, Rafael Devers doesn't want it. This is why they should be in on someone like Bregman. Bring in Bregman. There's name recognition there. He's got the ass, like you're saying yesterday. That's a real leader. They could use someone like that. Spend that money on him. And I don't care what the nerd numbers are and why there's some sort of internal strife between this section and the nerds. It's Cora and Sam Kennedy, and the nerds over here like, well, he doesn't have a good FIP and whatever the numbers are, and we don't want him. No, you should be in on him. I don't care what his age is, and the numbers have dipped a little bit. You need someone that's like an actual salty-ass ball player that would be a good fit here.
That we know.
That kind of money I would like to see spent.
Yeah, and with baseball too, guys, it's not like the NBA. It's not like other sports. If you decide you want to spend some money, if the Red Sox decide they want to go get Corbin Burns and Alex Bregman, you are immediately contending for the pennant. Like, the American League is weak. You can change on a dime in baseball. If the Red Sox want to contend for a World Series this year, they can easily contend for a World Series this year.
That's why I say go after Burns. He was in your division. The Yankees have better pitching right now than the Red Sox. I don't love the Red Sox conversation on the radio for the simple fact that until they do something. Like, that's me. I am waiting for them to do something. Burns would be a needle mover. That's a needle mover. How about another one? Tristan Casas. I know a lot of people have their feelings on him, but would you trade him for a 31, 32-year-old pitcher who's under 500 for his career?
I would not trade him for Castillo. I would absolutely trade him for Kirby or Gilbert, if that's what you're talking about.
Hey, what's the latest scuttlebutt since yesterday? Any, because there was some stuff yesterday. The Red Sox might be in on one of these Seattle pitchers that you just mentioned. What's going on today, man?
Yeah, it feels like something still could happen there. Ken Rosenthal saying this earlier today. Their focus is still pitching. A trade for Luis Castillo makes a lot of sense. I think that's a route they're at least exploring. Breslo says they want another pitcher, which to me means they're going to trade for another pitcher, unless they can get one of these mid-tier guys, Bueller, Manaea, one of those guys for a song. Because, again, they're not going to spend that much on the open market. I still think they'll trade for a pitcher, and I'm happy to trade Tristan Casas and just about anybody you have for another starting pitcher because you need it. And if your owner's not going to spend money, that's the path to do it.
If you like that clip, check out more videos from Felger and Mazz here. For more Red Sox analysis and opinion, hit this playlist. And for all the latest from the Sports Hub, download the app at 985thesportshub.com.